to one of the most powerful songs on the record before I let you go. The song You Don't Know. You Don't Know Nothing About Love.
Did you ever know what it is to be heard?
People might be familiar with the B.B. King version, but this is kind of transformed. I wanted you to talk about how this song kind of fit into this record's narrative.
You Don't Know is, in a lot of ways, I think it's the difference between a girl and a woman. Love is for girls, it could be the fantasy with the fairy tale. You know, he came and swept me off my feet, and I was so enamored of his, his eyes or his car or, whatever. And I know that feeling. I felt that feeling. I've been a girl for longer than I've been a woman, but now that I am, I see things differently. And if you don't know what it's like to stay up all night and not be able to eat and to give up everything for love, then you don't know what it is. You have no clue. Love is not all lace and flowers. It's shaped like a fist covered in blood. Love is a powerful, powerful tool that I always will believe can change the world.
That's Jill Scott. Her fifth studio album, Woman, is out now. Jill Scott, I love you. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. My pleasure.
And for Sunday, that's All Things Considered from NPR West. I'm Arun Roth. You can follow us on Twitter at NPRWATC. Follow me at ARUNRATH. We're back next weekend. Until then, thanks for listening and have a great week.
Support for NPR comes from WNYC members and from the Herbert Simon Family Foundation, supporting NPR and member station WFYI in Indianapolis, working together to cover stories and issues that inform listeners in Indiana and beyond by providing critical information about the factors influencing education. And Warner Brothers Records, presenting the story of Sonny Boy Slim, the new album from singer-songwriter and guitarist Gary Clark Jr., national tour starting October 31st, available now at Amazon. This program is brought to you in part by a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
You've been listening to All Things Considered here on WNYC. Thanks for tuning in. Coming up on 93.9 FM is the TED Radio Hour. Tonight, TED speakers explore our ambivalent relationships with our screens, how they're changing us and will shape our future. That's next on 93.9 FM and on AM 820. It's Marketplace Weekend. And tune in later tonight here on WNYC. Research shows good teaching makes a big difference in how kids learn. But the United States lacks an effective system for training new teachers or helping educators further develop on the job. Teaching Teachers, a new documentary from American Radio Works, examines what it would take to improve American teaching across the board. Tune in tonight at 8 on 93.9 FM and AM 820. Scattered showers for the rest of tonight. Mostly cloudy skies either way, low around 58 degrees. For tomorrow, mostly sunny, high near 77. It's 69 degrees and cloudy in Central Park right now. You're listening to WNYC and WNYC.org at 6 o'clock.
WNYC receives support from New Jersey's Clean Energy Program, helping businesses and local governments across the state modernize their facilities. More information at additupnj.com/WNYC.
This is WNYC, FM, HD, and AM, New York. Just keep listening.
This is the TED Radio Hour. Each week, groundbreaking TED Talks.
TED Talks.
TED. Technology.
Entertainment. Design.
Design. Is that really what it stands for? I've never known that.
Delivered at TED conferences around the world.
The gift of the human imagination.
We've had to believe in impossible things.
The true nature of reality beckons from just beyond.
Those talks, those ideas, adapted for radio. From NPR. I'm Guy Raz. Coming up,
You know, I spend a lot of time in airports and I look around and everybody, literally to a person, is glued to their...
there's your phone right now.
There it is.
I think what's driving us all to do this is this innate need to feel connected.
Because it's not just a phone, it's really a magic portal.
This episode, Screen Time. First, the news.
From NPR News in Washington, I'm Janine Herbst. California Governor Jerry Brown has declared a state of emergency in Lake and Napa counties, where the fast-moving Valley Fire is now burning across 40,000 acres. About 100 structures have been destroyed and 4 firefighters are hospitalized with second-degree burns. As Lorraine Dechter from member station KZYX reports, thousands of residents have been evacuated from their homes.
The Valley Fire moved quickly across dry woodlands and brush, burning homes first in the resort community of Cobb. Then the fire jumped to the town of Hidden Valley Lake, burning more homes, and then to Middletown, where even more houses, apartments, and businesses were destroyed. The fire moved so fast that many people evacuated without their animals and important possessions. Some fled their vehicles to get away from the fast-moving fire, and several roads and highways are now littered with burned out vehicles and downed power and phone lines. Hundreds of firefighting personnel are helping to contain the blaze. For NPR News, I'm Lorraine Dechter in Ukiah, California.
In India, local media are reporting that an explosion in the central part of the country has killed at least 90 people. The blast ripped through a crowded restaurant. Officials say a stockpile of explosives was illegally stored near the building and is believed to have triggered the explosion. Police say the owners of the mining company have been charged in connection with the blast. Day laborers and children are among the dead. Germany says it's temporarily restricting its border with Austria and enacting passport controls. That move comes after more than 14,000 refugees arrived in Germany this weekend. As Terry Schultz reports from Brussels, tension is growing among EU members as some governments shoulder more refugees than others.
Germany is temporarily imposing controls and possibly sending troops to its border due to the huge flow of migrants coming across from Austria. Germany says now only people with valid passports can enter, though it will still take in those fleeing war and persecution. Usually there are no checks between most EU countries, but governments retain the right to reimpose them in crisis situations. The European Commission has issued a statement saying this does appear to be a case that qualifies for the temporary exception to the rules, but that it expects Germany to reopen its borders as soon as possible. Berlin is leading the push for a fair distribution of migrants throughout the EU, a topic interior ministers will address Monday in an emergency session. For NPR News, I'm Terry Schultz in Brussels.
New York Senator Chuck Schumer wants drone manufacturers to implement technology that would keep drones away from airports. He plans to introduce an amendment to a bill funding the FAA this week that would require technology from preventing drones from operating within 2 miles of an airport or above 500 feet. Parents and students will now be able to fill out their financial aid forms in October instead of January. The White House making the change to help students determine earlier what kind of financial aid they can get. The president plans to announce the changes in Iowa tomorrow. This is NPR News.
This is WNYC in New York. I'm Sean Carlson. Some residents of Manhattan's far west side are excited about the opening of the new 7 train station, which is in the heart of the Hudson Yards development. A woman who gave her name as Christina says she lives on 30th Street near 11th Avenue, which until today was not the most convenient place to catch a train.
And I always have to go all the way to 34th, take the E train to go to Trusttown. So I'm hoping this will save me a lot of time and less walk. That would be nice.
The MTA says the station will serve about 30,000 passengers a day. Members of the Syrian American community are calling on the Obama administration to dramatically increase the intake of Syrian refugees to the U.S. Late last week, the administration said it would welcome 10,000 refugees, but activist Hamid Imam says that's far from adequate. He marched in the Muslim American Day parade in Manhattan today in hopes of attracting the broader Muslim community support.
Innocent civilians, their fellow Muslim brothers and sisters are dying on a daily basis. And, we hope and we ask the Muslim community to do more in supporting us.
The International Rescue Committee says the U.S. has taken in around 1,500 Syrian refugees since the Syrian civil war began less than 5 years ago. The organization is arguing that the country should welcome 65,000 Syrian refugees. Isolated showers for the rest of tonight, otherwise partly cloudy skies, low around 58 degrees tonight. A beautiful day for tomorrow, Monday. It'll be mostly sunny through the day with a high near 77 degrees. By tomorrow night, clear skies, low around 61. Tuesday, sunny, high 83. Looking ahead to Wednesday, sunny skies with a high near 85 degrees. 69 and cloudy in Central Park right now. You're listening to WNYC at 6:06.
Support for NPR comes from Margot and John Ernst, supporting North Country Public Radio in Canton, New York, and NPR's environmental coverage, which helps to raise awareness on issues surrounding climate change.
All the radios in my house are turned either to AM or FM WNYC.
WNYC listener Legacy Circle member Marsha Kaplan-Mann.
WNYC, it is the radio station of New York City. We have to keep it going. It is our radio station.
Include WNYC in your estate plan. Call 646-829-4587 or email legacygiving@wnyc.org.
It's the TED Radio Hour from NPR. I'm Guy Raz. Over the past few years, corporations wanting to stage manage an announcement
Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome to the call.
have turned to the corporate conference call. This is where reporters can dial in, grab some quotes, and write a story. And normally, they are pretty boring. But anyone listening to this call, this is a call convened by Facebook in 2014.
Joining me on the call today are Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Facebook.
Anyone listening heard a pretty amazing prediction.
Thanks, Deborah, and thanks everyone for joining us today.
A prediction about the future of screens.
I'm excited to announce that Facebook has reached an agreement to acquire Oculus VR, the leader in virtual reality technology.
So this is Mark Zuckerberg on this conference call with reporters announcing that Facebook had bought for $2 billion a company that makes virtual reality headsets. Now, at this point, a lot of Facebook investors were questioning that acquisition. They were asking questions like, isn't virtual reality that thing that was supposed to happen back in the 80s that never took off? And so Zuckerberg, on this call, was trying to justify to those investors why his company just spent $2 billion on a technology most people have never seen. And this is what he said.
The history of our industry is that every 10 or 15 years, there's a new major computing platform, whether it's the PC, the web, or now mobile. History suggests that there will be more platforms to come, and that whoever builds and defines these will not only shape all of the experiences that our industry builds, but also benefit financially and strategically.
Okay, just to pause and translate that. In the past, he's saying, anyone able to get in on the ground floor of new technology platforms like the PC or the internet or mobile devices changed the way we live and made their investors a boatload of money. Okay, let's keep listening.
Mobile is the platform of today, and now we're starting to also get ready for the platforms of tomorrow. To me, by far the most exciting future platform is our vision, or modifying what you see to create augmented and immersive experiences. I believe Oculus can be one of the platforms of this future.
So basically, this is Mark Zuckerberg in March 2014 predicting that virtual reality goggles are the next smartphone, the next internet, the next thing that's going to transform our lives. And quietly, over the past few years, a lot of other tech companies, Microsoft, Google, Sony, they've also been betting a lot of money on that same idea.
People are looking at this technology, I think, as some people think it's a novelty, some people think it's a video game. People are beginning to see it as a possible next step to cinema. I think what we're ultimately talking about is an alternate version of human consciousness.
This is Chris Milk. He's a filmmaker whose new company, Verse, makes virtual reality films. These are films designed to be watched using those virtual reality goggles. And Chris has already put out a few early versions of those films, which you can watch.
Turn what?
Turn your button.
Oh,
On a simple smartphone app.
oh, look at that.
We showed some of those films
Oh, that's pretty f***ing cool.
to people around the NPR office.
Look up, look up. Tilt it up.
Oh, that's cool.
This is neat. Wow.
Whoa, where did you guys get this?
Now, it's not what they're looking at that's important, it's how they're seeing it.
What is this?
Because the image you see changes
So cool.
depending on the direction you point the phone.
It's totally convincing.
And it starts to feel as if you're not just watching the screen, you're actually inside it.
The incredible thing about the technology is that you feel like you're actually present in another place with other people. It's different from anything I've ever experienced in my life, and many people who try it also say the same thing.
As we're going to hear on this episode, the technology behind our screens is moving really fast. So fast, in fact, that we sometimes spend more time imagining how our screens will change in the future than really understanding how our screens are changing us right now.
You are always there.
And it keeps us there.
Even if you're not actually there.
Because it's so good at distracting us.
You can click a button and get a dopamine hit and get some information.
Something is blinking, pay attention.
But it's not satisfying information most of the time.
Yeah, I try to be healthy about it. I don't want it to dictate my life.
But I think if things continue to go the way that they're going, it's just going to get too much for people.
You know, I spend a lot of time in airports and I look around and everybody, literally to a person, is glued to their...
There's your phone right now.
There it is. Even
right now.
You can hear it. I'm buzzing.
Hear it. It's buzzing right now. Today on the show, Screen Time. Part 1 of a 2-part TED Radio Hour looking at this moment in history when we're starting to interact with our screens almost as much or sometimes even more than we do with other humans. Next week, we're going to go inside the screen, a place where a whole other version of you lives, like a digital doppelganger, which may be more real than the real you. But this week, we're staying mainly outside the screen, and we're going to start to ask what all this screen interaction is doing to us, and how we're living more and more of our lives through it.
Imagine enjoying a courtside seat at a game, studying in a classroom of students and teachers all over the world, consulting with a doctor face-to-face, or going shopping in a virtual store where you can touch and explore the product you're interested in just by putting on goggles in your own home. This is really a new social platform.
Often we talk about, are we creating our eventual dystopian future? And if that is the case, and you are listening to this in the future,
I'm really sorry.
I'm really sorry about that.
We'll hear more from Chris Milk later on about how virtual reality technology could change how we experience the world around us. But first, what everyday screen technology is changing about us right now.